Something unlikely happens when a Los Angeles fitness influencer with millions of followers seeking authentic military content runs into a battle-hardened Army veteran who's about to challenge everything he thinks he knows about strength, courage, and what it really means to survive. Maya Rodriguez adjusts her worn baseball cap as she steps into the gleaming Beverly Hills office building, her combat boots echoing against marble floors that probably cost more than her entire monthly rent. The 32-year-old veteran carries herself with the quiet confidence of someone who's faced real danger, her eyes automatically scanning exits and potential threats, habits that 3 tours in Afghanistan never quite erased. She's here for a consultation that could change everything. After years of running survival training camps in the Mojave Desert and counseling fellow veterans struggling with PTSD, Maya finally has a chance to reach a broader audience. The irony isn't lost on her that this opportunity comes through Jake Morrison, a man whose biggest challenge seems to be choosing between protein powders. Jake Morrison scrolls through his phone in his corner office, surrounded by supplements, ring lights, and motivational posters. At 36, he's built an empire on 6-pack abs and morning routines, with 4 million followers hanging on his every perfectly lit workout video. But lately, his engagement numbers are dropping, and his manager keeps pushing him toward authentic military content to tap into that veteran demographic. She should be here any minute, his assistant announces, and Jake straightens his designer workout shirt. He's expecting someone who fits his mental image of female veterans, probably eager to be featured, maybe a little starstruck by his success. Maya enters without ceremony, her handshake firm and her gaze direct. "Mr. Morrison, Maya Rodriguez." Jake's practiced smile falters slightly as he takes in her presence. There's something in her eyes that makes his usual charm feel suddenly inadequate. "Jake, please, thanks for coming. I've been following your work with veteran support groups." "Have you?" Maya's tone carries just enough skepticism to make Jake shift uncomfortably. She settles into the chair across from his desk, her posture alert but relaxed. "Your assistant mentioned you want to create content for veterans. What exactly did you have in mind?" Jake launches into his pitch about authenticity and connecting with underserved communities, but Maya's expression grows increasingly skeptical. When he mentions his idea for a series called Warrior Workouts, she interrupts. "Stop." The single word cuts through his enthusiasm like a blade. "Have you ever actually talked to a veteran about what they need?" The question hangs in the air between them, and Jake realizes he's never felt quite so exposed. Despite being fully clothed, the collaboration begins awkwardly. Maya agrees to consult on Jake's veteran-focused content, but their first planning session reveals the vast gulf between their worlds. Jake's Malibu home gym overlooks the Pacific Ocean, all gleaming equipment and motivational quotes about crushing goals. "This is what you think veterans need?" Maya asks, watching Jake demonstrate his signature morning routine. "Affirmations about being unstoppable?" Jake pauses mid-burpee. "What's wrong with motivation?" "Nothing, if you're trying to get better at yoga or lose 10 pounds. Maya's voice is steady but pointed. "But some of the people you want to reach can't get out of bed without fighting panic attacks. Some are homeless, some are dealing with injuries that make your workout routine impossible." Their second meeting doesn't go much better. Jake insists on filming Maya demonstrating survival techniques, but he keeps trying to turn everything into content that will go viral. When she shows him how to purify water using basic materials, he immediately starts talking about marketing it as adventure-ready hydration hacks. "You're missing the point," Maya says, capping the water bottle with more force than necessary. "This isn't about adventure. This is about staying alive when everything goes wrong." Jake sets down his camera. "Look, I'm trying to help here. I have the platform, the reach. Isn't that what you want?" "What I want is for veterans to get real support, not another influencer using their struggles for content." Maya's control finally cracks slightly. "Do you have any idea what it's like to watch your friends die? To come home and have everyone thank you for your service while you're fighting not to jump every time a car backfires?" The raw pain in her voice stops Jake cold. For the first time in years, he doesn't have a response ready, doesn't know how to turn this moment into something positive and shareable. Their third session takes place at Maya's survival training facility in the desert outside Los Angeles. Jake arrives in his sports car, looking completely out of place among the utilitarian buildings and obstacle courses designed to teach real skills, not create compelling content. "Why do you do this?" Jake asks, watching Maya demonstrate demonstrate how to build a shelter using minimal resources. Because when I came back, I was lost, Maya replies, her hands working efficiently with rope and tarp. I knew how to survive in a war zone, but I couldn't figure out how to survive a grocery store on a busy Saturday. The skills I teach here, they're not just about wilderness survival. They're about finding your strength when everything feels out of control. Jake watches her work, beginning to understand that every movement carries weight. Every technique comes from experience he can't imagine. When she offers to let him try building a shelter, his first attempt collapses immediately. It's harder than it looks, he admits, surprised by his own frustration. Most important things are, Maya says, and there's less edge in her voice now. But you keep trying until you get it right. As days pass, their dynamic begins to shift. Jake starts asking different questions, ones that can't be answered with simple tips or life hacks. Maya finds herself sharing stories she's never told anyone outside her therapy sessions. The weight of command decisions, the guilt of surviving when others didn't, the strange isolation of being thanked by people who could never understand what they were thanking her for. In return, Jake reveals his own struggles with authenticity in a world that rewards performance over truth. Sometimes I wonder if I even know who I am anymore, he admits during a late-night planning session. Everything I do is for the camera, for the brand. I haven't had a genuine moment in years. Their breakthrough comes when Jake joins Maya for one of her PTSD support group sessions. Not as a content creator, but as an observer. He listens to veterans share their stories of transition, loss, and gradual healing, and finally begins to grasp the responsibility that comes with the platform he wants to build. I've been thinking about this all wrong, he tells Maya afterward. This isn't about creating content for veterans. It's about creating space for veterans to share their own stories. Maya looks at him with something approaching respect. Now you're getting it. But their growing connection faces a major test when Jake's manager pressures him to pivot back to traditional fitness content. The military stuff is too depressing, she argues during a heated conference call that Maya accidentally overhears. Your audience wants inspiration, not trauma therapy. Jake finds himself caught between two worlds, the comfortable, profitable realm of fitness influence and the challenging, meaningful work Maya has shown him. When he hesitates to defend their project, Maya feels the familiar sting of being let down by someone she was beginning to trust. Maya stops answering Jake's calls. She throws herself back into her desert training programs, trying to forget the brief hope she'd felt about reaching a wider audience. But Jake doesn't give up easily. He shows up at her facility on a scorching Tuesday morning, looking uncharacteristically uncertain. I fired my manager, he says without preamble. Maya continues adjusting equipment, not looking at him. Congratulations! Maya, please. I know I messed up, but I've been thinking about what you said about using platform for real impact. Jake's voice carries a vulnerability she's never heard before. I want to do this right, but I need your help, not as a consultant, as a partner. Maya finally turns to face him. What are you talking about? Jake pulls out his phone and shows her a video he's posted to his 4 million followers. In it, he's sitting in his gym, no fancy lighting or editing tricks, just talking directly to the camera about mental health, about the difference between motivation and genuine support, about learning from people who faced real challenges. I told them I'm changing direction, Jake continues, that I want to use this platform to amplify voices that matter, starting with veterans. The response has been incredible. Not just likes and shares, but real engagement from people who want to help. Maya watches the video, seeing genuine emotion in Jake's face, hearing authenticity in his voice for the first time since they met. There's something else, Jake says, his nervousness evident. I've been talking to some investors about funding, not for content creation, but for actual veteran support programs, training facilities like this one, but across the country. I want to put my money where my mouth finally is. Maya sets down his phone, studying his face. Why? Because you were right about everything. I've been living in a bubble, thinking influence was the same as impact, but working with you, seeing what real strength looks like. Jake pauses, searching for words. I don't want to go back to being the person I was before I met you. Their first real kiss happens not in some romantic setting, but in the middle of Maya's dusty training ground, surrounded by obstacle courses and survival equipment. It tastes like honesty and possibility, like two people who finally stopped performing and started being real with each other. 6 months later, Jake's platform has transformed. Instead of just workout tips, he shares stories from veterans across the country, promotes mental health resources, and uses his influence to raise funds for programs that make real differences in people's lives. His follower count has actually grown, but more importantly, the engagement is deeper, more meaningful. Maya has become a regular presence on the channel, not as Jake's girlfriend, but as an expert voice on resilience, leadership, and authentic strength. Together, they've opened 3 new training facilities and launched a scholarship program for veterans pursuing education in mental health counseling. You know what's funny? Jake says one evening as they review applications for their latest grant program. I spent years trying to inspire people, but I never felt inspired myself until I met you. Maya looks up from the paperwork, a slight smile playing at her lips. That's because inspiration isn't something you create, Morrison. It's something you earn. Drop a comment below, sharing your own story of finding strength in unlikely places. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that go beyond the surface to explore what really makes us human.